All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at a fascinating story of how a 1980s pop sensation recently cashed in a massive headline-making payday for a song that, let's be real, most of us have had stuck in our heads for decades. We are, of course, talking about the absolute legend, Hassan Jahangir. $50,000. Yep, you heard that right. That is exactly what the makers of the blockbuster spy thriller The Rundar just paid Pakistani singer Hassan Jahangir. And what was this massive payout for? Well, to use his iconic 1987 track Hawa Hawa as the ultimate swagger-filled entry scene for Sanjay Dutt's character. You know, in an industry where older tracks are constantly getting remixed or sampled on the cheap, securing a $50,000 payout for an untouched, decades-old track, that is absolutely staggering. So, part one, from Karachi to Superman, the origins of a pop star. Before we really get into the modern-day value of his music, let's rewind a bit and trace the roots of his explosive rise to fame. Born in Karachi in 1962, Hassan Jahangir didn't exactly kick things off with your typical conventional ballads. Actually, in 1982, he made this rather quirky debut with a track literally titled Imran Khan is a Superman. He was basically testing the waters of pop music at a time when the Pakistani music scene was totally dominated by traditional folk and classical melodies. But it was in 1986 that he finally stepped into the studio to record a certain track, officially releasing it a year later in 1987. And that track, of course, would become his absolute global masterpiece. Moving on to part two, the Hawa Hawa phenomenon, a cross-border cultural touchstone. Let's look at how his biggest track actually had its roots in a completely different language and era. The story actually starts with Hover Hover, which means shout shout. It was a 1973 Persian psychedelic rock track by the Iranian legend Shiagmai. Jahangir took that incredibly catchy underlying tune and completely reinvented it as Hawa Hawa, meaning wind wind, in Urdu. He literally transformed a gritty Persian rock song into this bouncy, synth-heavy pop anthem that just absolutely begged you to dance. And dance they did. 15 million. Just try to imagine the sheer scale of this success before the internet, right? Before Spotify, before viral TikTok dances were even a thing. This catchy, upbeat tune sold a staggering 15 million cassettes in India alone. It became an absolute cross-border phenomenon, totally dominating the airwaves across all of South Asia. But, you know, success wasn't actually instant for him. Self-doubt almost completely took over. People initially mocked the song, saying things like, ha ha ha, ye kya bana diya? Basically meaning, what have you even made here? Jahangir admitted to feeling incredibly dejected. He'd walk into cassette shops and see none of his posters anywhere. He was completely overshadowed by the older traditional singers of the time. But then the crucial turning point arrived. And it didn't happen in some record label boardroom. It happened at a simple traffic signal. One day his car stopped, and he actually heard his own uniquely rhythmic song blaring from another vehicle. From that single moment, the whole thing just cascaded. Suddenly, the song was in shops, it was playing at parties, it was echoing from every corner. It was spontaneously becoming an absolute rage. Okay, part three, defining pop star fashion. Jeans, joggers, and launder bazaar. To match this revolutionary sound he created, Jahangir realized he needed a totally revolutionary look. And his approach here was basically a masterclass in personal branding. At the time, singers mostly just stood relatively still in these formal suits. Jahangir broke that mold entirely. He hit the gym to build his macho man physique. He completely swapped out the suits for jeans and joggers. And honestly, here's my favorite part. He would study international magazines like Rolling Stone, and then he'd head over to Londa Bazaars, these local secondhand markets, just to hunt down unique jackets, belts, and scarves to replicate that global rock star energy on a budget. He wore these signature white outfits and, famously, he started taking his shirt off on stage and throwing it out to the frenzied crowd. He even claims a little bit of credit for modern Bollywood trends. In a recent interview, he pointed out that he was doing the whole removing the shirt on stage routine way before superstar Salman Khan ever made his debut. Jahangir playfully claims that Salman actually adopted the style from him, adding that even today, he thinks he's in much better shape. Now, he truly realized the sheer scale of his own fame during what I like to call the flat tire epiphany. So he was driving around in his signature white outfit and scarf when his car got a flat tire. A massive crowd of young fans immediately recognized him on the street. But instead of just swarming him for autographs, the mob of cheering fans literally lifted his car up themselves to help him change the tire. That was the exact moment he said to himself, okay, wow, I am officially a star. Which brings us to part 4, milestones and enduring legacy. From cassettes to Coke Studio, let's see how his legacy continues to pay some major dividends in today's digital landscape. Over 30 years later, his music is still just as magical. We saw a massive resurgence back in 2018 when he performed an incredibly energetic version of Hawa Hawa on Coke Studio Pakistan alongside Gulpanra. Then you look at the Bollywood features, from the 2017 film Mubarakan to that massive $50,000 licensing deal for the 2025 film Durandar that we talked about right at the start. Today, he is actively collecting royalties for a catalog of hits that, for decades, was freely pirated without him seeing a single dime. And that brings us to a really vital realization about the industry. As he put it, there was no copyright system earlier, but now I get paid for all my songs. This perfectly underscores the evolution of music rights in South Asia. We're contrasting an era where 15 million cassettes were sold and the artist saw very little back-end money against today's highly structured licensing deals where an artist's intellectual property is finally respected and properly compensated on a global scale. Which leaves us with a really fascinating question. How does a single song outlast its era to become this lucrative cultural bridge crossing decades, borders, and entire generations? Well, Hassan Jahangir proves that with the right infectious beat, a completely fearless personal style, and an undeniable energy, music doesn't just capture a moment in time, it becomes totally timeless. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope you found the journey of Hassan Jahangir as captivating as I did.